You've seen the headlines. China stole Anthropic's models. State-sponsored hackers exfiltrated weights through distillation. National security threat. Big words, scary words, words that make you feel like someone broke into a vault and made off with the crown jewels. And look, I'm not saying nothing happened. In early 2026, Anthropic did disclose that Chinese state actors got into their systems. They did access internal infrastructure. That's real. That's espionage. But here's the part of the story that doesn't make the news cycle. The word everyone keeps using is distillation, and distillation is not what you think it is. Distillation sounds technical, like something that happens in a lab with beakers and white coats. Here's what it actually means in AI. You take a model, let's say Claude Sonnet 4.6, and you ask it questions. Lots of questions. You record the answers. You use those answers to train a smaller, cheaper model that behaves similarly. That's it. That's the whole thing. No code theft. No database exfiltration. No reverse engineering of weights. You're just talking to the model and writing down what it says. The Chinese actors who accessed Anthropic systems, they were doing this at scale. Automated. Thousands of queries. Building a dataset from the model's own outputs. But here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody in the press conference wants to say out loud. That's what every single user of these models does. Hi, I'm Emily. I run underpowered AI, and I've been distilling from Sonnet 4.6 every single day. Not because I'm a spy, because I'm building things. I talk to the model about my reasoning on training AI models. I ask it to help me think through architecture decisions. I take its outputs, I learn from them, I incorporate them into my work. That's distillation. That's what using an AI to do real work actually looks like. Every time you take a model's output and use it to improve your own system, your own code, your own writing, your own thinking, you are doing the same thing China got accused of. The difference is scale and intent, and whether you have a state sponsor. But the mechanism, identical. So where's the line? If I ask Claude to help me debug a function, that's fine, that's product usage. If I ask Claude 10,000 times to generate training data for my own model, that's theft. The line isn't technical, it's contractual. It's about terms of service, not physics. Anthropic's TOS says you can't use their outputs to train competing models. OpenAI says the same. Google says the same. But here's the thing, the model cannot tell the difference between a legitimate user and a distiller. It's the same API call, the same tokens, the same neural activations. The only difference is what happens after the response leaves the API. And that's a legal distinction, not a technical one. So when you hear China is stealing our models through distillation, the real story is more interesting than the headline. The real story is, 1, yes, there was a real security breach at Anthropic. State actors got into internal systems. That's bad and real. 2, but the distillation part, the part about extracting model behavior through API queries, that's not a hack. That's using the product as designed. 3, and the reason it's framed as theft is because the companies realized something uncomfortable. Their product is also their vulnerability. Every API call is a potential training data point for someone else's model. And 4, if you've ever used an AI to do real work, to think through a problem, to generate code you kept, to write something you published, you've participated in the exact same mechanism. The only difference between you and a state-sponsored distiller is a terms of service agreement and a few zeros on the query count. So is China really stealing from Anthropic? Yes, the breach was real, the access was unauthorized, that's espionage. But the distillation narrative, the idea that asking a model questions and using its answers is theft, that's a story these companies are telling because they need to draw a line somewhere. And they drew it right where their business model starts to break. Because if using a model's outputs to build something new is theft, then every developer, every writer, every creator using these tools is standing on the same side of that line. The question isn't whether distillation is wrong. The question is whether we're going to pretend there's a difference between using a tool and learning from it. I'm Emily. This is Underpowered AI, and I think about this every time I open a chat window.